Hello everybody, welcome to another Facebook Live with Jeannie. I'm Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. So today, I maybe intrigued you, and maybe you guys already started guessing and thought, okay, she's going to do 3 cards, and they're just going to be tweaked a little bit. So it's going to be maybe for the beginning, the casual, or the avid stamper. But it's not. Hi, Susan. Wait till you see these cards. This is going to blow your mind. Hopefully. Anyway, tonight we are doing a card class here in my studio. I can't remember if I have 6 or 7 ladies coming, but I have 8 kids, so it doesn't matter. We're using the Shaded Summer Stamp Set. Beautiful stamp set. That's been around for a couple of years, and about maybe 2 years ago, they had add-on dies. These are, I don't have them all right here on the sheet, but these are essentially the dies. If this is Shaded Summer, I think they're called the Summer Shadow dies. They were add-on dies, and I bought them then. And this year, they brought them back to the catalog by, oh my goodness, what a great thing that they did. So anyway, I made a class with the help of Judy Tuttle and I, Judy from Lincoln, Nebraska, kind of collaborated on this class. She sent me some ideas. They were jumping off ideas. And then I went ahead and designed a little bit more of my own class, even though a lot of that was hers too. Anyway, I'm going to show you 2 of the cards, and I actually am going to make a 3rd card. And the thing that these cards all have in common, besides the Shaded Summer Stamp Set, is the Awash with Beauty designer paper. So what I wanted to show you is these cards are all very, very similar. This is the first one. Love this one. Then there's this one, and I'll show you a little bit about that one. And the 3rd card is also going to be the same. I've picked out colors. I've picked out the designer paper. It's going to be a surprise because it's going to be a card similar to this card that we did in our masculine class a few weeks ago. Not going to show you any more of that because it's going to give away what I'm going to do. But anyway, so I have my stuff here. I'm going to get ready to go. Make sure you like my video and share it. And if you are interested in the recipe and tutorial for all these cards, you better be on my mailing list every Tuesday. And I was a little bit late this week because I kind of forgot about it on Monday, and all of a sudden it's Tuesday morning and I didn't have any time at work at night to work on my thing. So I didn't go to bed until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I was working on my newsletter. Anyway, I'm going to flip down and we are going to have some fun here. And you'll see what we're going to tweak to make these 3 lovely cards that you can do at home. Okay, so here we go. Gonna flip you down, put my glasses on. And here we go. So I've got my supplies here ready to go. I've got a couple of card bases. I've got my Awash with Beauty designer paper. 3 different ones. Isn't that so pretty? They're all a little bit different. And I'll show you what we're going to do to tweak them. I've got my blends. Let me move my blends out of the way for now. So we are going to start. This is where I need my glasses. Okay. And if you need this stuff, make sure you get it soon using my June host code. So here we go. Okay, so card number 1, and I kind of showed you this already. We have a Balmy Blue cardstock. I'm going to move that back. Balmy Blue cardstock right here. And I scored it at, it's 5.5 by 8.5. All of these pieces of cardstock, by the way, 5.5 by 8.5. That's where the similarity ends, okay? So this one I've already scored. It's already ready to go. I scored it at 4.25, so right in half. I've got my bone folder. I like using a bone folder to burnish the folds. The cards are much crisper. They even look a little bit, if I dare say it, a little bit more professional. I've got my designer paper here. And this is one of the 6 pieces, double-sided pieces that there are. I wish I had brought the paper here. You're going to have to look at it in the catalog. But what this paper is there is 2 strips. So there are strips at the bottom and strips at the top. If you cut it at 6 inches, you end up with, you could make 6 different cards. And of course there's 2 of those sheets, so you can make 12 different cards. And all you're doing is cutting this piece of paper down to 4 by 5 1/4. So what we're going to do is just attach this to the paper. Isn't this such an easy card? The first one's easy. The next ones are stepped up a little bit just because of how I folded them. Okay, so here we go. We've got that. And you know what I just realized is that I didn't take my sentiment with me. Hang on one second. It's still in the box already for art class tonight. So I just love this. So, so pretty. I have my 3/4 inch by, I think it's 3/4 by 3 1/4. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. Yep, 3/4 by 3 1/4 inches. I've got my Memento ink, and I kind of meant to put the label on here, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is make sure that here, my stamp, I'll have it done before class, guys, hopefully. I'm just going to make sure my sentiment is lined up with the block so that I can trust the block if I can't. You know, you try to think it, outsmart it, and then if you don't trust the block, as long as you've put it on the block perfectly lined up, let's just do it like this. There you go. May the good you do come back to you. And voila, that's all I have to do with that, except take my paper snips, and what I'm going to do, without smearing this, because that's a very likely thing of what I would do, I am going to just cut these 2 corners. I'm going to try and cut them kind of evenly, you know, so that they're the same angle. So there we go on that. I have a piece of pool party ribbon. It's probably about 14 inches. What I'm doing is taking this, tying it around, tying it in a bow. There we go. I've got my dimensionals right here. I'm going to pop this sentiment up with about 3 or 4 dimensionals. And we're going to put it right here, right here. You kind of put it where it's not going to hide the flowers too much. But look at that. I am ready to go. All I have to do is put an insert and this card is done. Isn't that so simple? Aren't you guys excited that are coming tonight? You're going to love this paper. Awash with Beauty. Okay, let me put that away for a second. So that's our first card. Okay, now this next card, I have a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock and another one of the patterns from the paper. It has some pink, marbly looking design on the back and then some pretty flowers. I was going to do maybe the polished pink, but you'll see the reason why I'm doing it with this one. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. I'm going to put it on my scoreboard here, my scoring tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it at 2.5 inches and 6.5 inches. Now, mind you, I haven't put this together. I just know how I want it to look. Let's take our bone folder. We're going to do this. And we are going to do this. And we have our designer paper. So look at here, we already have the same 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock, but I folded it a little bit different. 2.5 and 6.5 inches. So it's a 4-inch insert. So you'd have to, your insert inside, which I didn't cut, but which I would. Oh my goodness, I think I put the wrong inserts in the cards that are here on the table now that I think about it. Oh no, we didn't do this card. Would be 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So let me take this piece of cardstock, designer paper, the Awash with Beauty designer paper. If any of you guys think, I know that I had a couple people that thought that this was deformed. It's actually a plastic film that's on here that I could peel off if I wanted to. I just choose not to. Okay, so what I am going to do, I've got my 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer paper. And I have to double check once more. I don't want to cut wrong. I'm notorious for that. Okay, it's going to be 2 1/4 inches is the first cut. And that leaves you probably a 1 3/4 inch other side. There we go, 1 3/4. And this will all be in the email next week. So you guys that are on my email list, you're getting it ahead. You're seeing this now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, oh, did I do that wrong? You know what? It's supposed to be 3 3/4. So yeah, I did. Here I thought I was onto something and they were going to all be the same. But this one has to be 1.5 inches, not 1 3/4. So the total amount does have to be 3 3/4, just like for the inside of the card. So I was wrong. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got my dog Mickey Mouse hanging out next to me. I'm going to put this on the card here. This one, there is, if you looked at this, there is a piece of the pattern paper that is a little bit browner. I wanted to make sure that I got a lot of the pink flowers, first of all, and that I didn't get any of the brown for when I flipped over this. So this is what we're doing. We are putting this here, just like that. And we're going to flip this one over. So I'm going to put my multi-purpose green glue right there. You don't need a lot, just a dab will do ya, especially if you want to move it. It kind of slides around initially, but it doesn't take long to stick at all. Okay, so there we go with that. I kind of wish I wish the flower was up at the top here, but I couldn't do that because my stem is there. But that's okay, we're going to hide it anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do now to dress up this card is take a piece of basic white cardstock. I'm going to ink up my shaded summer stamp, and I'm going to use this for both of them. There we go. Let me set that aside. Let me close up my ink. I brought my Memento re-inker with me because this is a brand new ink pad. Love it. But I wasn't sure how wet it was going to be. So just to be safe, because I'm usually not, I thought I would do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is color with the polished pink, the light polished pink blend. I'm just going to go, I actually am even going over the black because you'll see that if you don't, it looks like there's areas that don't get colored. So we're just going to go like that. I could do more shading than this, but we're not going to. This is how quick this is. And I'm going to use my, this is the light Old Olive blend. I'll color in my leaves just a tiny bit. There's not many leaves on here, but there's a couple. And then I just like to add a little bit of color to these stems here, because if I don't, it looks like I forgot to color some of this. So we'll do the stem. You don't have to be, this is kind of like one of those watercolor stamps again, so it's really easy. Okay, so that's that. You know what? Maybe I probably should have done more with the petal pink. I might go back over this one before I post this card and color it, just take the color remover, lift up a little bit of the polished pink, because it doesn't really go with the Blushing Bride as well, and add a little bit of petal pink to that, just to peach it up a little bit. Okay, you know, in fact, since I forgot my boards, hang on one second. Okay, let me move this for just a second. Let me do what I was talking about. I'm going to use the color lifter just a tiny bit. You guys can see just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to use my, I'll cut this out first while I wait for that to kind of settle. Okay, I've got my base and I've got my two number 2 plates, and I have the die right here. So this is the Summer Shadows dies. And because I wasn't thinking, it was a little bit bigger than the size of the, I only have like a 3 1/4 inch diameter, and my scrap was a little bit bigger. So here we go, ready to go there. I'm going to use just a piece of Post-it on here and hope that this Post-it is sticky enough that this paper is not going to move on me. Usually I cut this stuff out ahead of time. I'm trying to be a little bit more active, showing you how easy it is to use. It's really easy, but you have to have sticky Post-it to make it work. Okay, I've got another one here. Let's just use this one so it's not going to move on me, because wouldn't it be a shame to do all that coloring, have it all ready to go, and then it moves on you. So Susan and anybody else watching, I'll see you in a couple of minutes for card class. So excited. Okay, I'll move it like this. Roll it right on through, and I'm going to do that once more in a minute with one more piece of scrap. So let me move that out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Got my piece of paper here, and what I said I was going to do was just add a little bit of petal pink, and it just peaches it up just a little bit so it might match the Blushing Bride a little bit better. Then what I should have done was a yellow center, but what I'm going to do is just attach this here. It should have a, it probably should have a sentiment yet, but you know what? I didn't prepare for that. So let's just, just gonna pop it up a little bit. I'll add to that before I post this card, because, and it's going to be using a sentiment from the Shaded Summer stamp set, because it's got some really beautiful ones. So here we go. Definitely needs a sentiment yet, because otherwise it's a little bit busy. It could even use a belly band if you wanted to. Like I said, inside 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4, which makes this designer paper 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 as well. So these are, I said they were the same. I was wrong. They're off by 1/4 inch, but it's just using the same piece of designer paper, and I flipped over that one cut. So there we go for that. I'll work on making that a little bit prettier. So this one, I've already done the scoring, but this one is also a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece of, this is Cherry Cobbler cardstock. Mary Merlot matches better, but I scored about 12 pieces of Mary Merlot cardstock at 4 1/4 inches, and then realized that I needed to score it otherwise, but I was out of cardstock. So that comes tomorrow. So we're using Cherry Cobbler. So what you're going to do is score this one at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. And that leaves you right here in the middle, that leaves you a 4 1/4 inch card front, or actually card base, I should say. It's not the card front, because this is the back of the card. Taking our bone folder, we're scoring 2 1/8, 6 3/8, leaves a 4 1/4 inch base in the middle. Meets evenly, just like that. So this is a double fold card. Just a little bit different. You know, they're both, this one, like I said, is 4 inches, not 4 1/4 inches. And maybe I could have done it differently, but then it would have, you know what I should have done? I should have done so that it was, instead of 2 1/2 and 6 1/2, I should have scored it at 2 1/4. And then it would have met in the middle, but it would have been a little bit off from this one. So that's what I'm going to do next time. Would have been the same, but it would have been a little bit off in the middle. And I have my piece of designer paper. Once again, a different one. Love these patterns. I'm telling you, I just ordered 3 more packs of this paper, because I'm thinking for my thank you cards for June, I'm going to be able to use this and whip out a whole bunch of pieces just like that. So this 4 by 5 1/4, I'm going to cut this just at 2 inches. Let me double check that, because like I said, I like to cut once and measure twice. Yep. 2 inches should do it. And that leaves just a little bit of an edge. Let me double check here. And it's actually 1 7/8. So it's, here we go again. It's really 3 3/4 inches. So it's 1 7/8, the cut. And you know what I'm going to do is save this and try to line them up so that they meet in the middle, and it's like a continuation of the pattern. So 1 7/8 here. Let me cut off this. I can use that little strip inside or whatever I want to do. Move this off. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to add this to the front. When I thought of this afternoon, in my mind it worked out much better than this, but I guess what I should have done is made them all 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and then it would have made much more sense. So then I really would have been true to my word for what I said it was going to do. But still, it's just 3 pieces of cardstock, 3 pieces of designer paper, different patterns, and all I did was switch them up. Isn't that so pretty right there? I don't even need to do anything about this, but you know what we're going to do is put a little belly band around here. This is a 9.5 by 1 1/4 inch strip of old olive cardstock. I kind of want it loosely put here, because if you do it too tight, it's not going to slide. There we go. And what we're going to do, I have my label here. And once again, I forgot to take the sentiment. Let me get a sentiment. Okay, let's stamp this with Hello You. So this is from the, once again, Shaded Summer Stamp Set. I'm going to stamp this with the Hello You right there, down in the corner. And then I have my piece of basic white cardstock, which I have to cut down to fit through the thing. Here we go. We're going to take our stamp again, same as before. Ink it up. Stamp it. If you wanted to be really careful, you'd have a mat underneath you probably. Even though that's more important for photopolymer stamps, I do like to use it also for my clear stamps, my clear rubber stamps. Okay, let me get the die again, right here. Nope, wrong die. Same one as I used before. Like I said, it's the same. I'm just coloring it a little bit differently. We're going to cut it again. I've got my... This is what happens when I craft, guys. I don't know what happens. All of a sudden, everything is everywhere, and I have to be really careful. It's like a major hurricane went through whenever I stamp. It really is. I'm not even kidding. You know, I've got these tables so clean, guys. When you come tonight, you're going to be amazed. But this desk right here, whew, what a mess. And I just cleaned it. It was spick and span before. Okay, here we go. Move this out of the way. What I'm going to do this time is color it a little bit differently. I'm going to color it with the dark old olive blend on my leaves. And like I said, there's not a lot of leaves, just a little bit, just to give it some color. And that kind of matches the old olive belly band that we just did. Once again, I'm going to add a little bit here, not being really fussy, most of all because I have to make sure I'm ready for you guys when you come tonight, but also because it's a watercolor look. I don't want to be too fussy. If you start getting really careful about it, it doesn't look as fun and free. Okay, that's that. And then I have here the light Blackberry Bliss. And this is, maybe I could have done cherry cobbler, but what I was trying to do, might have to go back and do cherry cobbler, coloring over the black, just like over my open areas here. We're going to just do it like that, just like that. It should have some, here, I'm going to put some petal pink because I didn't bring my So Saffron blend over. And what we're going to do is put this here. It's pretty close to the Cherry Cobbler. It's probably closer to the Mary Merlot, but it is pretty close. Let me get my dimensionals here. Oh, there's just a strip here that I could use. Get rid of that piece of paper. Okay, here's another couple of blends, a couple of dimensionals, just like that. Move that out of my way. We're going to pop that up here. And then what I'm going to do is, use the dimensionals again. And what I want to do is use the dimensionals to hold the belly band together. So what I'm going to do is put like one here, and I'm going to put one on this side. And that is, when I attach this, it's going to hold that band together. And then all I have to do is slide it just like that. Now the trick, if you need to do it again, the trick is to do it straight. So there we go. We've got 3 cards. I could have done this a little tighter. I may pull it up and redo it again, but we've got this card, which needs a sentiment, but it's a little bit different. We've got this card, and then we've got this one. And I have to tell you, this is my favorite because like I said, I love to let the designer paper do the talking. I've got my Take Your Pick tool, and I've discovered my new favorite since the Genie gems are gone. I have these gems. These are the 2021 to 23 in color gems. What are they called? In color opal rounds, and they're so pretty. And this one is the pale papaya. It looks kind of yellow. This one is the polished pink. I really like that. I could put them anywhere. I'll work on that. I don't know. I don't want to just kind of spontaneously do it, but this is a good way to, here, you know what? I'll use the soft succulent on this one, and it kind of takes the color of whatever is around it. One more right here. Ta-da, see, isn't that so pretty? So let's flip back. So glad to see you guys. I don't know what my schedule is. I don't even know who just wrote that little comment. I'm going to respond to everybody's comments tonight before I go to bed. But I'm so glad to be here with you. I had a good time. I hope you did too. I next week have to record because I won't be here. I have company coming. So next week I'm going to record something that I'm going to share with you. Love you. Bye.